Good evening to all football fans worldwide. So, welcome to the podcast for the Europa League final, which is between Ajax and Manchester United in the city of Stockholm. So, I have with me here two guests, Jishnu and Vikyat, who will volunteer for Ajax and Manchester United respectively. So, good evening, and both of you kindly speak as to what has gone through this season for both sides in their own leagues and as well as the European commitments.
Uh, First of all, hello. As for Ajax, they've been in good form recently. Obviously, they had a heartbreak in the league as they lost to eventual champions Feyenoord by 1 point in the league. Although both of them won on the final day. So this is a young Ajax side, and they played to their very best, but unfortunately, they couldn't get the win in the league. So they finished second and will again next year be in European competitions. As for in the Europa League, they finished top of the group in a group that considers Celta Vigo themselves, Celta Vigo, Standard Liège, and Panathinaikos. Uh, and then they went on to face FC Copenhagen in the round of 16, where they lost the first leg away but came back to win the tie 3-2 on aggregate. And then they face Schalke in the quarterfinals, where again, where this time they won the home leg 2-0 and had a very bad second leg where they lost. They were 3-0 down, but came somehow managed to scrape for 3-2 and advance to the semifinals. In the semifinals, they had a big lead in the first leg again with a 4-1 win over Lyon at home, and then they traveled to Lyon and somehow held on to a 3-1 loss. So they've had these losses in recent matches. They've had three losses in their last 8 or 10 matches. But as for the first leg that they play and the matches that matter, they have performed well, and they're a young team that is doing very well for their expectations, and will surely mount a great challenge for Manchester United, who also themselves haven't had that good a season.
Well, hi everyone. Surely the domestic season for United has been very poor. I mean, they have finished sixth, and honestly, like they got themselves only to be blamed. I mean, they could have finished in top four. However, the last few games they messed up really bad, and even the injuries were a concern. So domestically the season wasn't good. However, United did won the EFL Cup, but then I don't think that would go into saying much about the season. And even like as we saw in the quarterfinals again, Netherlands they weren't good, and they had to go to the extra time to finally win and progress. And even in the semis, Celta Vigo almost had them 1-0 victory at Celta, and then 1-1 draw at Old Trafford to qualify. And I mean, thanks to that, obviously that miss of Gudetti. However, so United have been pretty much inconsistent this season, and the finally they have somehow reached the finals, and this is a very big opportunity, a very important game for them, because they have to qualify for the Champions League this season anyhow. Because and also, I mean, they are the favorites. They have been the favorites, so they have to win this final because it involves a lot of money. Second, it involves the Champions League, and a lot of future signings are also dependent on whether United have the Champions League or not. And thirdly, it's the biggest thing. It's about the pride. I mean, come on, Mourinho has he selected his second team, and he did not focus much on the last few games of Premier League just to have his entire full fit squad for the finals. So if he doesn't win it he will come under a lot of criticism. United will come under a lot of criticism, and so they have to win it. It's all about the pride at the end.
Well, as you said, United's form hasn't been great in the league and even in Europa League. Yeah, after all, they went into extra time against the Anderlecht, as you said. But then, keeping such things in mind, you also mentioned that they have finished sixth in the league. Um so all these things considered, do you feel that playing if that qualifying for the Champions League through Europa League is adding more pressure to United, or do you think that they'll grasp it with both, grab it with both hands and ensure that they win the final? Because at the end of the day, they have not qualified for the Champions League through the league positions because they're sixth, and they have to. It's like a playoff game wherein you get through or you don't qualify for the Champions League.
Oh, well, yes, certainly. I mean, the pressure will be huge. The pressure will be immense on the United players. But however, I feel that now they are mature enough. Now they will take this pressure in a positive manner because I mean they only have one way. They have to win this game anyhow to get into the Champions League. And so I guess they will take the pressure positively and they will play at the best of their abilities and get a win. I'm sure. I'm confident about my players that they will do it because at this point of time, if they somehow, cannot perform under pressure, then there won't be a better opportunity than this. Let me say this way. I mean, this even gives them a very good platform to perform and to rise above pressure and to prove everyone a point. So yes, I do feel that they will be at their best.
That's an interesting assessment. Well, as for Vishnu, um, you have seen that Ajax has gone through patches where they have played excellent football and convincingly thrashed their opponents, or on the other side, they have lost some matches. Well, what in question is now that they can play super football, excellent football, especially as you saw in the match against Leon in the first leg, where they thrashed 4-1, and their front three, especially Dolberg and Traore, were great. So, and also recently in the final match against William in the league, where it was a must win for them to stay in the title race, they fielded their youngest 11 in such a pressure game that way. So, keeping such things in mind, do you think that having a young, inexperienced squad playing such a huge finale can motivate them and ensure that they play fearlessly, or do you think that the inexperience will count because they'll come under pressure against a side like Manchester United?
I think firstly it's all down to Peter Boss. He has used his players very well. He has a very very young squad, but they have overperformed, way overperformed than what was their expectation at the start of the season. So this squad, obviously, it lacks a lot of experience because they're young, but as they've shown time and again, they can perform when needed. They show that character, they show that fire in their belly, and they certainly will be they are very competitive, and they will be a big threat to Manchester United, especially these young forwards who are poaching defenses time and again throughout all competitions. We already know about Kasper Dolberg, who has 16 goals this season, and he has been a star for the team. Not to ignore all the other players who have been equally good, but he has been the one who has been getting goals. Obviously, their captain Davy Klaassen, who is comparatively the older lot in the team at 24, has been brilliant in the center, and he has also chipped in with a lot of goals. And the added experience of players like Bertrand Traore, who have had experience at clubs like Chelsea, has also helped them a bit with his goals and his assists and brilliant play. So this is a team that looks young on paper, obviously looks very inexperienced, but the way they play, the way they are outperforming themselves, shows that this is a team that is well built and will perform at its best. Obviously there needs to be certain changes that need to be made. Obviously it is not a finished product, because as we've seen, when they've played brilliantly in the first legs and then conceded a lot in the second leg and almost lost the tie, as seen in the semi-final and the quarter-final of the Europa League. So they will have to be on the lookout for that they do not take the match casually. Obviously it is a final, they will have that temperament that they usually have in the first leg of matches, but again they need to be careful, they need to be cautious, they need to show character. And I don't think that right now there is a better manager for them than the one they currently have, who is leading this team. Also, it is Ajax, and we know that Ajax is a very successful club. A lot rests on these players' shoulders, as it'll be their first European trophy in a lot of in a long time. So these players know what they're playing for, know where at the level they're playing, and they trust each other to perform at the level that is expected of them. And that the name of Ajax, the status of the club, is what will motivate them to play even better and probably even win this trophy.
Okay, fine. Good elaborate answer. So now the question is for the Manchester United supporter. Uh, well, Mourinho, if you remember, around 3 to 4 years back, he had slammed Rafael Benitez for winning the Europa League with Chelsea, and had said that he would never ever think of winning a Europa League because he clearly said that it is a lower tier competition. However, now things seem to have changed with Mourinho not achieving his European qualification last year because he was sacked, and this year again he has not been able to qualify for the Champions League, and is now it has come back to bite him because now he is forced to win Europa League. That too, if you have seen, he has prioritized Europa League over finishing in the top four positions. So, do you think that he is being hypocrite?
I definitely knew that this question was coming up anyway. Yep, obviously, I mean, those times were different when he criticized Benitez, and the times right now are very different, much different. Like when you compare Mourinho's last two seasons, last season he was sacked for, and Chelsea was 10th, and he failed to, qualify for the even for the Europa. And right now also, I mean, United were inconsistent, and even he was to be blamed for certain games. So, I mean, yeah, he couldn't make it through to the top four, and then he prioritized the Europa because he thinks that his team's progressing well, and the teams that once they cross the semi-finals, they just had one game to play, which they have to win to qualify Champions League. So it's like, why not? Why not go for it? So yeah,
But
obviously
you don't
he has.
think that he could have rotated his players?
Well, yeah, certainly he could have rotated the squad, differently and in a much better way. I mean, he definitely the one big, point where I am telling that he has committed his mistakes are in that aspect only. Like he hasn't rotated his squad, sorry, well. So yep, that is one of the bigger issue which even caused injuries to Pogba and Wiley. When I tell because Pogba had to play like what 3 games in. Well, yes, surely I do feel that that's a big aspect. When I said that Marino has been responsible for United such performance, I was pointing out this aspect only that that's the squad rotation. I mean, he surely hasn't rotated his defense very well. I mean, Bailey had played around 12 to 13 games continuously, where he could have been replaced by Tuanzebe or someone, and even like United had certain games in which they were playing the 18th or 19th place team, so he could have rotated it, but he did not. And then even Pogba's injuries were because of Mourinho's overplaying of him. So surely that's a big point where Mourinho got it wrong. But however, I do expect him, in next season he will come out good for it. Like yes, coming back to the question. I mean, obviously Mourinho has been hypocrite, but then the times are different then and the times are different now. At that time, he was in a situation wherein he never thought that in the future he might even ever have to play the Europa League, and right now he needs to win it to get into the Champions League. There's the elite league basically. So yes, there are many examples. Like Eto even said in 2005 that he would rather do work in fields, but he won't play under Mourinho. But then he played under Mourinho. He even won the treble with Inter under him. So yeah, times will change. We even have the example of Fabregas and all. So yeah, it's all about the times basically. But then, who honestly, who isn't hypocrite these days in the world of football? So yes, but then let's see. Hopefully, he wins the Europa League and somehow gets us into the Champions League. So I guess a lot of pressure will be even it off from him, and a lot of criticism will be gone away. Else, because if by any chance the United fail to win the Europa, it will be one of the worst seasons for him for United, and there will be a lot. So I hope for the best.
Well, certainly right about the rotation problem, especially about Bai because he had to play a lot of games continuously. Well, all things done, and now kindly go through the possible lineups. And yeah, Bai is suspended because of his red card in the match against Celta Vigo. And again, Weregever was sent off in his match against Leon. So, do you think that the defense is the case where either of the side can lose their match? And kindly give your expected lineups and possible tactics.
Starting with the suspensions for Ajax, obviously, as you mentioned, Verga is suspended for the game, and they will have to replace him at left back. And they already have a very potent and well-used left back in Riederwald, so that shouldn't be a problem for Ajax. As for their formation, they will start in their traditional 4-3-3 with Andre Onana in goal. uh, Weltman will have to look for his fitness. Obviously, it is confirmed that he is totally fit, but still to be cautious. Uh, they're not 100% sure if whether he will be starting the match, but just in case he's injured, they have another potent right back in Tete. So at right back, I'll still say Weltman starts. Uh, their centre back pairing will be obviously their star centre back Davison Sanchez and young centre back released. And at left back, as I mentioned, Riederwald will start. As for the midfield, they will go with Davy Klaassen, their captain, Lasse Schöne, who has been brilliant and has scored some very important goals for them as well, and their star assist provider, Hakim Ziyech. Obviously, in attack, they will go with their preferred three of Bertrand Traore at right wing, Kasper Dolberg in the middle, and Amin Yunus at left wing. So it'll be a 4-3-3, and they will look to attack through the wings and obviously uh, control possession. So they're obviously a side that likes to keep possession and carve their way through the defense of the opponents and attack through the wings. So yes, they will be probably be at their best when they have possession. And obviously, they know that Mourinho and his sides aren't the best at keeping possession and like playing counter-attacking football. So they will have to be wary on the counter, and their defense will have to hold tight because United also have a lot of attacking strength and a lot of brilliant midfielders who can play long balls and can cause a lot good counter attacks through the wings through their pace.
Well, certainly Bai would be a big miss for United because the way he's like, let's get it straight. He's been our best central defender this season. So obviously, him being banned in this game is a big blow for us. But then, however, I do feel that United have the enough defense got depth to cope up with him. However, I mean, if Smalling starts first of all, though, I hope he does not commit another error which could lead to a goal because he's been pretty much he's error prone this season. He's committed mistakes and he's done it in big games, which has cost us goals. So that would be a big factor. When he will have to be at his personal best. And obviously, even Rojo is injured, like Rojo is out of the season, so the the responsibility falls on Smalling. But however, he's been very error prone this season. Like he's cost us games, he's cost us goals. So I'm not sure whether Marino will go for him or not. But then that's altogether a different concept. But then, however, he must be at his personal best if he's selected and not commit any error in this game of this crucial importance. And talking about tactics, IEX is known for its total football policy. It's known for its possession-based football playing style. And even the same Mourinho is a big anti-possession-based manager. Who has a anti-possession football style. So I guess this game is perfectly suited for him, to demonstrate his abilities and to demonstrate his tactics. And he he believes a lot in counter. He's definitely going to go and kill IX on counters and with using the pace of Rashford or maybe Marshall and Mkhitaryan. So definitely he is going to kill. He's going to let Ajax have the ball, but however he's going to kill them on the counters. And when it comes to key players, this game, I don't think United should be dependent on a particular person in this game because this game is very important, like as I said previously. So I guess all the 11 players are the key players for United in this game, and every player needs to step up and buck up their performances and play up to their optimum level. However, fun players to be selected, and I would go with Mkhitaryan because when it comes to Europa, he's been the main man for United. I mean, he already has 5 goals, and like in since last 2 games, he's not been up to the mark. But then, however, I feel that tomorrow the final will be the right time for him to sure come to his form and showcase his qualities which are very good. So I feel like he will be the main man for United, and obviously Pogba has a point to prove. He's been criticized a lot because of the fee that United paid for him. So he would definitely be wanting to say, why his performance. So these two would be I players for United tomorrow. And when it comes and about injuries, I guess everyone are aware. Rowe is out, Young is out, Shaw is out, and when it comes to attack events, Zlatan is being out. Zlatan is out of the game basically, so he won't start. But however, as news is concerned, he was at the training ground today, to meet the players. So I guess that must have boosted the United players mentally also because he's been a very dominant figure, and for the good, for obviously for the good side. So speaking about United's lineup for tomorrow, Romero is going to start in the goal, and that's already confirmed by Mourinho. The 4 defenders would be Valencia. I expect Jones to start after the good performance against Crystal Palace, and I definitely like my preference would be Jones over Smalling, since Smalling has been sloppy this season, and obviously Blind will take the left centre back position, and I expect Damian to start as the left back. The 3 defenders I feel would be Herrera, Pogba, and there are doubts about Fellaini whether he sustained an injury. But however, I expect him to start, so it would be Herrera, Fellaini, and Pogba, and the 3-man attack would be Mkhitaryan, Rashford, and Lingard. So that should be United's lineup, and like as you see, the attackers will be full with pace to counter and play the counter attacking side. So yep, this is my predicted lineup.
Interesting. 4-3-3 versus 4-3-3, possibly. So now comes the interesting part of the podcast. Try to emulate Paul the Octopus and please provide us a predictions, both of you.
As for the predicted scores, we all know that Manchester United are favorites coming into this match. They have a well-rested squad. They have a very good squad. They have world-class players, and they are obviously the ones that the bookies are favoring to win this one. Although Ajax is a club which has shown their trust in the youth, and they have performed very, very well. And I feel this young, obviously, we all know that these big stages are where heroes are made, where stars are made, and I think this youth team can pull off an upset by winning the final. I would go with a 2-1 win for Ajax, and I feel that Dolberg will score. Uh, he's been a revelation for the club, and with this with a great performance in the final, he might as well find himself at a European giant in the summer.
Well, talking about the predicted scores, it's kind of tricky. I mean, this season, especially for United. However, another point first, what I would like to make is, this is like a homecoming for the three of United players actually. Like one is Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Daley Blind, and third is for Timothy Fosu Mensah. They all these three have, played at Ajax and are much loved by the fans. So this would be, good to an interesting counter between the fans basically because both the club set of fans love these players. However, moving to the question,
one small interruption. So again a draw on the cards. What do you say?
No, well, that's a cheeky comment, but however, definitely not a draw this time. In fact, I feel the game will end in 90 minutes. First of all, secondly, one major thing I'd like to say is, United somehow need to contain Ajax, and they should restrict them from scoring first. Because if Ajax scores the first goal, then United will be a big trouble because then the Ajax can just defend and just escape through it. Well, a lot of teams have done this against United this season, so they must be pretty aware about it. And again, another thing that United need to pay attention is that if they get the lead, then they must not just sit back and invite pressure among them like they did against Swansea and like they have done against other teams. They must keep on attacking and go for the second goal, just to create a cushion space. So when out, I think United are the favorites, and I guess.
Also, you mentioned about Blind. Well, exactly 22 years back, Danny Blind and Patrick Kluivert start for Ajax in their Champions League win over AC Milan, and under the great manager Louis van Gaal, who is also a familiar figure for Manchester United and Ajax. Another interesting point which you made is about Blind, because exactly 22 years back, Danny Blind and Patrick Kluivert start for Ajax in their Champions League victory over AC Milan in 1995 under Louis van Gaal, who is also a familiar figure for both Ajax and Manchester United. And tomorrow, both Daley Blind and Justin Kluivert are going to fight as to who is going to win the Europa League trophy. So definitely an interesting match is there on the cards. Let's see who wins. If it's again Mourinho back to the Champions League, or it's again a fresh start for Ajax and their relative side to come.
Well, yeah, sorry to interrupt. There's one more big familiar face. Edwin Mendoza. Who is the director at Ajax, and obviously we all know how much he loves United. So this would be another interesting.
But he's already mentioned that he's supporting Ajax, so that's out of question.
Yeah, he said it. He said it because but he even said it in the I wish United and Ajax never face United in the finals.
No. Yeah, definitely. After all, he has also won Champions League with both clubs. Yeah, sure.
Yep, no doubt about
and yes, we surely hope that we witness a great final, and very best of luck to both the fan bases, and may the best team win. And our thoughts go to those who were affected in the Manchester Blast yesterday. And thus we conclude this podcast. And we are signing off from Crossbar.